names in the automotive world strike fear, respect and admiration all at once, quite like the Nissan GT-R. Nicknamed Godzilla for its monstrous performance, this car wasn't just a machine, it was a movement. It challenged the best from Europe. It rewrote what was possible in Japan, and it captured the imagination of gearheads around the world. But to truly understand the GT-R, we need to rewind the clock. Let's take a journey from its humble beginnings in the late 1960s, all the way to the day it bowed out and left behind an immortal legacy. The GT-R's story begins in 1969 with what fans now lovingly call the Hakosuka, a mashup of the Japanese words for box and skyline. To the casual eye, it looked like just another sedan of the era. But under its hood lay the beating heart of a racer, the S20 engine, a 2.0-litre inline-six borrowed from Nissan's Prince R 380 race car. It produced 160 horsepower, which might not sound like much today. But back then, this was serious performance. On the track, the Hakosuka was untouchable. It racked up over 50 race victories in Japan, dominating touring car championships. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't exotic, but it proved one thing: Japanese engineering could compete with the world's best. This was the spark that lit the fire for everything to come. In 1973, Nissan introduced the second-generation GT-R, nicknamed the Ken Mary, thanks to a popular TV ad campaign featuring a young couple named Ken and Mary. It carried the same racing DNA, but the world was changing. The oil crisis hit, emission regulations tightened, and suddenly, big performance cars weren't what people wanted. Production of the Ken Mary GT-R ended almost as soon as it began. Fewer than 200 units were built. And with that, the GT-R disappeared. For nearly 16 years, it seemed like the dream was over. But as history shows, legends don't die. They wait for the right moment to return. In 1989. Japan was booming. Technology was advancing, and Nissan was ready to reintroduce the world to the GT-R. And they did it with a car that would forever change the game: the R32 Skyline GT-R. This was no ordinary sports car. It came armed with the now legendary RB26 DETT engine, a 2.6-litre twin-turbo straight-six, officially rated at 276 horsepower. But everyone knew Nissan was sandbagging those numbers. The real figure was closer to 320 horsepower. What truly set the R32 apart was its technology. The ATT ESAE-TS all-wheel drive system gave it incredible grip, while the super high-CAS rear-wheel steering allowed it to corner with surgical precision. The result? Domination. The R32 crushed the Japanese Touring Car Championship, winning every single race it entered for 4 straight years. Overseas, it terrorized Group A racing, earning it the nickname Godzilla from the Australian press. The monster had arrived, and the GT-R was back with a vengeance. In 1995, Nissan unveiled the R33 GT-R. Bigger, heavier, more refined, it wasn't as raw as the R32, but it pushed technology even further. With updated aerodynamics and improved handling, the R33 proved itself worthy. And if there was any doubt, Nissan silenced critics at the Nürburgring. The R33 became the first production car to officially lap the green hell in under 8 minutes. That achievement cemented its place in history, proving that the GT-R wasn't just a Japanese legend, it was a global contender. Then came the R34 in 1999, the car that for many enthusiasts is the ultimate GT-R. With sharper styling, a shorter wheelbase, and even more advanced tech, the R34 carried the RB26D ETT engine into its final, most refined form. But it wasn't just about performance, it was about culture. The R34 exploded in popularity thanks to movies like Fast and Furious and video games like Gran Turismo. For kids around the world, this was the poster car, the dream machine that made them fall in love with Japanese performance cars. Sadly, production ended in 2002, and once again the GT-R disappeared. But this time, it wasn't gone for long. In 2007, Nissan shocked the world with the R35 GT-R. This was not just a new model, it was a complete reinvention. Gone was the Skyline name. This was simply the Nissan GT-R. Under its hood was the VR38 DETT, a hand-built 3.8-litre twin-turbo V6. At launch, it produced 480 horsepower. Over time, that number climbed. 565 horsepower, 600 horsepower in the Nismo versions. Each engine was assembled by a single Takumi master craftsman, a detail that highlighted just how special this car was. The R35 wasn't just about power. Its dual-clutch transmission, sophisticated AWD, and relentless engineering made it one of the fastest accelerating cars on the planet. At the Nürburgring, it set blistering lap times, humiliating cars that cost 2, even 3 times as much. The GT-R had transformed from a street racer into a world-class supercar slayer. A car that proved you didn't need a Ferrari badge to reach the pinnacle of performance. But even legends must eventually face reality. In 2022, stricter emissions and noise regulations forced Nissan to discontinue the GT-R in Europe. By 2023, production slowed across other regions too. After more than 15 years in production, an eternity in the car industry, the R35 bid farewell with a series of special editions. It was the end of an incredible chapter. The car that had gone toe-to-toe with the world's best was finally laying down its sword. From the humble Hakosuka of 1969 to the cultural icon that was the R34 to the record-shattering R35, the GT-R has always stood for one thing: pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It was never about prestige or price tags. It was about passion, engineering, and proving that Japan could build a car to rival anything the world had to offer. Today, the GT-R may no longer be in production, but ask any car enthusiast and they'll tell you the legend of Godzilla will never die. And that wraps up the story of the Nissan GT-R. From its humble beginnings in the late 60s to the legendary R34, and finally, the supercar-slaying R35. What do you think? Was the GT-R the greatest performance car Japan ever built? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with a fellow car enthusiast. And of course, subscribe to Petrol-It for more car reviews, histories and deep dives into the machines we all love. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Petrol-It, where passion meets horsepower.